Hey everybody, Derek here to bring you another video for Fear the Walking Dead Season 2. And what this video is going to be doing is focusing on Madison and where I think her character is going to go in the second season. If you are not caught up with Fear the Walking Dead's first season and you don't want to be spoiled in any way, then I would exit the video now and come back later, because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay, so when Fear the Walking Dead first began, we saw Madison dealing with the situation of Nick, that her son Nick, who was unfortunately a heroin addict, was found and was in the hospital again. And we saw Madison trying to deal with that situation, and also dealing with her new husband, Travis, and her daughter, Alicia. As we know, Travis and Madison are the two adults that really, bring everything together. You have Travis, who has his ex-wife, Liza, and his son, Chris, and you have Madison, who has her children, Nick and Alicia. And we really see Madison trying to make everything work, balance, going to school and doing her job, dealing with her students, dealing with her family. And that's really something that I think goes to the central core of Madison's character, is that she really is about family. And that really is a theme of the entire show, is family. But for Madison, I think that a lot of the things that she does are very family motivated, trying to protect her son, Nick, provide care for him to try to get him to overcome his addiction, her dealing with that, as well as just trying to, help Alicia to grow. She is a very successful student, and I think that, Madison wants to keep her on the road to success and not have another, Nick situation happen. And once the apocalypse, starts to hit, we see Madison really get, a little bit of an education on what's going to happen from one of her students, Tobias. The two of them go to the school, they get the food, and they end up having to kill the principal as a walker. And this really changes Madison's character. I think it really threw her into the mix of what was going to happen, and what the world was like. That was her first walker kill. And from there, we have the families coming back together and seeing the dynamic go from there. And again, what we see is that Madison wants to be able to help her family survive, and that she's willing to do things or let things happen in order to do that. And I've always felt like Madison really is a character that is more realistic. And I think that you see her struggle, you see her, going through what she goes through. And I think that's just because she's more adaptive than Travis is and some of the other characters. And I think that part of that comes from, her experience from losing her first husband. Her first husband died, the father of Nick and Alicia. And I think that being a single mother, dealing with that and having to raise her children by herself for a while, as well as dealing with Nick, I think has really made her into the character that she is. And she really is more adaptive and more realistic about the situation. But she wants to protect her family. And, when we see Nick get taken away after what happened, how he gets taken away for treatment along with Griselda, we see her go to drastic means in order to get Nick back. And that was to let Daniel Salazar torture Adams. Of course, Daniel Salazar did. And Madison knew something was going to happen, but wasn't involved, but she let it happen anyway. And again, I can't blame her. I think that is really something that she wants to, do in order to help protect her family. And she will do whatever it takes, I think. And I think that's going to be something that motivates her character forward, is that she does want to protect everybody. Now, where is that really going to take her into season 2 and with the rest of her, family joining up with Strand? Well, I think we're going to see a lot of the same things happening with Madison, but that she's going to be dealing with a lot more, I'd say stress, more drama from the situations that have been going on. Because as we know from the end of season one, Liza, Travis's ex-wife, ended up getting bit by a walker. And this, of course, led to Liza, saying, Madison, you asked me if you were bit that I would kill you so that Travis wouldn't have to do it. I'm asking you the same thing, Madison, asking Liza, asking her to kill her so that she doesn't have to, reanimate as a walker. Well, Madison can't bring herself to do it. And this results in Travis coming down, finding out the situation. And Liza did not want Travis to have to be the one to kill her because it was going to potentially destroy Travis. And I think it will. I think that it is going to be something that really hurts him and changes his character. And I really think that, when it comes to Madison and her relationships with the other characters, I think she's really going to be having a hard time, trying to look out for all of them and protect them because of all the other things that are going on. In the one trailer, we see that Madison is very distrustful of Strand, and I can't really blame her because, we've seen that Strand is definitely very mysterious. There's a lot that we want to know about this guy. Does he have good intentions by inviting, Madison and the Salazars onto the yacht, or does he have other ulterior motives? And if, Madison, Travis, and the rest of them get in the way, is he just going to cut them loose? And it does make you wonder. And, you see that Madison is definitely going to continue to do what it takes to protect the ones that she loves. But will she be able to do that? Because I think that a lot of the things that have really affected Madison is the fact that I think she constantly does feel like in many respects that she is a failure. And that comes from, Nick, that repeatedly Nick has been, going back to the drugs. And I mean, a heroin addiction is a very terrible thing to have. I've heard it's one of the most difficult drugs to give up, to become sober again. And we saw in the first part of the season how Madison was trying again, to protect her son, to get him over the drugs so that he wouldn't end up dying, from everything that was going on. And he goes right back to doing what he does again. And she ends up beating him. She just smacks the living daylights out of him. And I think that really a lot of that is just frustration. It's this idea of, I've been investing so much into this and you're just going to come back and, laugh in my face and just do whatever you want. Like, are you kidding me? And I can't blame her. And, I will be interested to see if Nick can overcome his addiction and if that'll help Madison along the way. But I think that the biggest thing that she's going to be dealing with is her relationship with Travis. I think there's a very good chance that the two of them are really going to have some problems moving into the second season. How long that will last, I'm not sure what it will be revolving around. I think a lot of it might be about Liza, whether, the two of them are going to, be able to move forward after what happened is definitely a mystery. Because I think in many respects, we're going to be seeing Travis really regret not being able to protect Liza as well as Madison. This idea of, I could have protected Liza more, and I didn't, and she ended up dying. And I think that in a sense, Travis is going to have some guilt within him that may project onto Madison. This idea of, yeah, I love you, but I'm also conflicted about what happened, because let's face it, most times when people do get a divorce, your love for the first person that you married does not necessarily go away. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that Travis still, truly in his heart still loved Liza in some way. And her death is not going to be something that he can just, dismiss and move on with. I think he is going to have some struggles. And I think that Madison is going to try to be there for him and try to be supportive, but that maybe she might not be able to give the support that he needs. Maybe she's just not able to convey that message that he needs to really, move on. And maybe Travis might also make it difficult for her. He might blame her for things. He might, yell at her, have a short temper. And I think that a lot of this is also going to be dealing with Chris. I think there's going to be a lot of stress related to that. I think that Chris is definitely going to have animosity towards his father and towards Madison because, had that relationship not happen, well, maybe the zombie, apocalypse would have been different for that family. And I think that Chris is definitely going to be harboring some ill feelings towards his father and against Madison. And it's hard to say where it will come from, where it will go from there. Definitely a lot of mystery, but I think that one thing's for certain is that Madison is still going to have that motivation to protect her family, to do whatever it takes to, keep them going, to keep them surviving, and the hope that she can somehow keep them all together as they move into this new world, because it's not going to be easy. And I think that she's definitely going to be facing a big challenge when the show comes back. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank all of you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. Have a very wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.